spots maybe in the future. And FS Esports, they're going to start to move away from these spots off the bat because they do realize the more time they waste in these late game scenarios, the tougher it's going to get to breach inside the circle.
All right. I take everything back that I just said about X7. That move was actually pretty brilliant from them. They sent Mok out, and Mok just had to do one thing. He waited. He waited for the players of FS to abandon that shack, get rid of the line of fire, and as soon as FS made a run for it, as you mentioned, Necro, because the wall of death was moving towards them, they looked for a better position inside of this game. As soon as FS moved up a few houses, the players from X7 took a swan dive in this river and are now going to swim all the way towards the cliff shoreline and avoid the line of fire against the players of FS completely. So this is a brilliant move, but talk about brilliant moves, and feels like Spy are actually pulling off moves of their own, as Velocity's aimbot is going to be finished off by them.
Yeah, Spider Esports, chiming inside the lobby, doing a great job. And I guess one of the players from the side of VLT as well, just losing out on his life. Actually, two of the players, and now it's all down to Jazzy and Immortal. Johnny, what just happened? You blink it and you miss it. Spider Esports really get spray downs from this team. And now, considering given VLT, they're down to just a two-man squad. Even this team's sort of handicapped. I'm telling you, man, these underdog teams, they're just playing so unorthodox that these known teams are not able to know how to counter them in the first place. X7-2 taking heavy fire amongst themselves. They're getting shot at by all the teams that are currently on the edge lines as well. And every single person from X7 who's in the water lines is also taking a lot of shots.
X7 from the distance getting shot at by the players of Acid Esports. Perigord is going to look to secure the finishes for his team. But I don't understand what the call from the side of FS was, because the players had the high ground, they had the shacks to work with. All of a sudden take a swan dive and are now behind the players of X7, who just have one player remaining, by the way, and he has been spotted out by the lads of RVNC as well. So X7 is getting gate kept from the zone from two different angles, and same fate is going to be met by the players of FS, in fact. And FS, it's going to be worse for them because they are going to be gate kept by the players of X7 at the same time. So there's going to be three teams blocking their way. But lucky for them, X7 end up getting taken out. But ladies and gentlemen, we switch over to this fight. Big Brothers against the players of Velocity. And in fact, against the last two players from the side of Velocity, who have been reduced to just one, as Immortal is the last man standing from the side of VLT.
Velocity losing out on their lifelines. And yeah, as you mentioned, Immortal, the last man alive, he's at least got 11 first aids to take care of himself. So yeah, he can't keep on tanking up the blue zone damage for a while, but can he keep on going? That's my question. He will probably try to make it inside the circle because it does not really have a lot of first aids in general to back him up forever. 10 first aids, that's not going to be enough to secure a solid position for the upcoming moments. So he needs to at least try and fight it out for a little bit more and wait up for that med strat in the final few moments of the game. But Spider Esports finally taking a couple of shots against the players of RVNC. RVNC in the receiving lines themselves, they're trying their best to fight back against Spider, but things are getting a little too tough. They haven't really got any peoples in their hands, and that's the massive problem for them for now. Look at that spray from Wixie. What a spray that was. Midwave Esports actually going to blow up that vehicle as well. And Spider Esports on the verge of getting eliminated.
Extremely late in the game, but Midwave Esports, as you mentioned, are just kicking things off, trying to secure the first elimination, but it does not really go their way, as Atanki from the side of Midwave has been finished off in this game. But now they start to convert, or in fact they're looking to convert. Big Brothers down 2 players, and Midwave is going to walk away with both of these finishes. Although Wixie, will he make it? The first aid is going to be popped right in the nick of time, and he does manage to stay alive for the next few seconds. But Big Brothers, Rishi and Seth, they have them sandwiched from either side. The entry inside the zone is being blocked. Diana says he's going to make a move for this, running out of that watchtower. But Rishi, he does not have HP. First aid finally used. He does have a little bit of something to work with, but it backfires. It backfires on both of them. Diana says he's down, but Big Brothers on the other side, they are straight up out of this game.
Yeah, getting eliminated. Acid Esports too. As I mentioned, they were in one of the most controlling spots a while ago, but now the spot's moved away. The circle's sort of not really favoring them in these late game scenarios. CS Esports now in a really good spot. This is what the circle really does to you. At one point in time, it can be your good friend, but then in the other time, it might just shift on some other team. So it's really tough to understand where the circle shift might come in forward. That's why you need to make sure that you're having the maximum amount of land control with the splits that you can make inside the game. But Team Psych right now, loading a lot of max in the front lines, and right Genesis in the receiving line, another player's getting knocked out. This is not a good news, Team Psych. They're starting to make it hard. Atlas is trying to make a run against the opponents, but now he's just taking a lot of damage with the shotgun from Hitman, and eventually he also gets wiped out from the game. Genesis, they're on the verge of getting extinguished from the lobby, and that's what exactly is going to happen. The last man was surviving, but eventually he gets eaten alive as well.
I mean, Atlas, he did one thing perfectly, made sure that all of the players from the side of Genesis that did gain access to the zone weren't going to be there with a lot of HP to work with. So that is where, that is why when the fight re-engaged, Acid Esports, they had a massive advantage to work with. But now, all of a sudden, they find themselves going up against CS Esports. And let's not forget, CS Esports, they are extremely lethal. Look at that, the first knock is secured, and Sarthak is looking to make sure that Acid Esports are going to be burned out from the face of this map. But Dorora, he's on our screen. Sarthak going for a revive. Ranadeep on the flank. Shots being heard by Ranadeep. But Dora, what will he be able to pull off? He's the last man remaining from the side of Asus Esport. 3 teams remaining, ladies and gentlemen. CS is there with a man advantage. It's a 3v1v1 in their favor. All they have to do is finish off this player hiding in front of this green McLaren. In fact, and if they can manage to pull it off, this is going to be their game. Here it is. Only one knock is what Dora is going to be good for. And with that, his game does come to an end. Explicit from the side of Genesis. Has 7 first aids to work with, but in a 1v2, especially since you are going to be in the blue zone towards the ending stage of the match, you can't really do much. So I think we all know who's going to get the 15 points and the win for this match.
Yep. It's going to be the players of CS Esports who also won that game in a really fantastic fashion. A way to close things off. And considering CS Esports actually kicked things off inside the lobby, wiping out the likes of Godlikes, and then moving it forward with an unstoppable force. And that's why they've also managed to secure the chicken dinner to themselves. Explicit still going for that med strat. Now he's got the final first aid in his hands, and even he will be claimed by the Wall of Death. That means CS Esports, ladies and gentlemen, are going to be your winners for this game of Sanhok. What a way to close things off from this team. In the end, also wiping out Acid Esports to claim the victory. As usual, this team's 4-4 fights have been looking pretty phenomenal, be it whatever opponent they're going up against.
From the start till the very end of the game, just being consistent, being impressive, CS Esports, I think, again, what we were missing yesterday from them, they've more than made up for it today. Because that first initial fight against Team Godlike, it looked like it wasn't off to a great start because Jonathan was the man who secured the opening knock over there. But CS Esports, you give them this much of a breathing room and they're going to make sure that they're going to choke you and make you suffer without any air. So it is an impressive lineup, and so far they have been extremely consistent as well. But another team that I do want to talk about is Acid Esports, because that first fight against Orangutan in boot camp, I wasn't expecting that.
And that was way too easy for them as well. They made it actually look so easy in general against a team like Orangutan, who is supposed to have such a massive